and welcome back to series number 2 of day number 1 of the TSL number 3. Is that enough numbers to confuse you? We're here.
And I'm day 9.
And I'm chill with 3 1s, I guess. But we're over here on Terminus Re for game number 2. Terran versus Zerg between the two clanmates from Fnatic. Spawning in the right side as the blue Terran, we have Fnatic.Fenix. And spawning at the 6 o'clock as the red powerhouse Zerg, we have Fnatic.Sen.
Does look like Sen going to be sending that Overlord in the wrong direction first. Oh, how embarrassing. So that does mean that he is going to have a very, very hard time finding his opponent anytime in the near future, unless he sends out a drone, which is, of course, going to be the most likely thing to do. But keep in mind that with these two positions, if we go to this bottom right Zelnaga Watchtower, this is one of the most important pieces on the entire map. I do think that Phoenix is going to be a little bit happier given these positions, because note that the fourth base Phoenix will take is that expansion that is very nearby that Watchtower. It's easy to put too much pressure on Zerg to be able to keep his forces joined together. You can split Zerg up quite easily on this map in that fashion.
Yeah, very easy push distance for Phoenix. He's going to be very safe, as you said, pushing along with Siege Tanks if he does decide to go with that composition, which is also popular, and we see the Drone Scout moving in. To finish my sentence, the popular composition of Marines and tanks, which we've seen used in a lot of professional Terran versus Zergs at various levels. We see that drone going to move in and spot the SCV leaving and just say, hey, then he's going to move in. Check for gas. Yes, there is gas as Phoenix begins to mine that. Going to finish up the barracks. Looks like the SCV is under assault. Will he be able to finish it? Yes. Yeah, okay, it was pretty close, but he's going to get away with it.
Oh my goodness, that SCV is just taking the big risk. It looks like Fnatic MSII for blood wants to try to nibble away, but no, Phoenix too focused to let the nibbling occur. There's a tech lab going down right now, and you know, I did want to come back a little bit to that idea of taking that fourth base, how nice that is for Terran with those push distances. Keep in mind, though, that this map is still huge. The distances between these two players is still gigantic, so Sen has plenty of time to do exactly what we saw in the previous game. Defend, 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 build more momentum, and then when that final swing comes forward, it might be a little bit too much for Phoenix to handle.
Right, and Sen is decidedly going to be expanding away from Phoenix. He's going to want to expand not together in multiple locations, so that if Phoenix wants to attack those positions, he's got to walk all the way across the map with his entire army, and that opens up a lot of opportunities for Sen to either counterattack, or if Phoenix is a little bit scared and only sends a portion of his army, it allows Sen to isolate and divide his army and crush only half of it with the entirety of his army. We see Sen opening with a very similar build, and Phoenix, for that matter, also opening with a very similar build. Reaper going to move in, see that there's no queen, so it came out a little bit quicker this time. Going to dance around and take out those Zerglings, and this is just a little bit annoying as he's losing a little bit of mining time here. Looks like queen not yet out.
Oh, look at that 4 kills on that Reaper. The Reaper, a fairly uncommonly used unit, and oh my god, the Queen pokes him right in the eye.
Hey.
Yeah, that's always, that's just, it's not fun at all, I'll admit. We do see the Ro32 for Sen now finishing up in the main. Overlord's continuing to pop, and oh no, Phoenix with the uncharacteristic SCV loss in the main. I think Sen's going to be quite happy about that one. Phoenix looks like, despite losing that previous match with that funky Hellion Starport build, looks like he's going to opt to do the exact same thing again this game.
Yeah, taking a look at that Tech Lab, Blue Flame has not been researched yet. It costs 150 gas, which Phoenix is quite a ways away, so we'll keep an eye on that. Sen opening up very similarly yet again, and Sen's so good with those larva injects, as I was trying to get this point across last game, that he doesn't even drop a creep tumor until, you know, late into the mid game. He started his creep spread really towards the 10-minute mark. Until then, that Queen always down around 30 energy at a maximum is what I saw out there. So Sen playing very nicely and very heavy on the economy.
There's a bunker going down right now for Phoenix as he does transition into that Blue Flame Hellion play. One thing to note that is just so characteristically Phoenix, I mean, these Hellions and Banshees, not the best units for defense, But Phoenix doesn't ever really care about defending. He just wants to be able to put so much pressure on that the opponent is too scared to attack. Defending by being aggressive. We see Phoenix doing the same basic opening he did in the previous game, getting that very early evolution chamber, building spine crawlers, spreading that creep out, getting a third queen. I think that is essential. Ooh, a fourth queen. Not only because he's seeing the fact that there's a Banshee coming out, but also because on this map, on Terminus RE, distances are so big that you just need that creep spread.
Yeah, definitely. We saw Sen put just a little bit of pressure with 3 roaches on the wall of Phoenix, trying to target down that tech lab. You'll notice it's missing 60 HP, sitting in the yellow, but no big deal. He'll repair that, get some summer students to paint that back up. Meanwhile, Sen, let's take a look at the income tab early on. Take a look at the worker disparity yet again, as that's always fun with Sen style. 44 drones for our Zerg player, 29 SCVs for our Terran player. Bunker going up, no harassment with these Blue Flame Hellions, as Blue Flame has completed. So this is a little surprising to me. Typically when you get Blue Flame anywhere in the early game, you want to be out on the map, kind of exerting your map control with them, harassing, but Phoenix not opting to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Blue Flame timing is generally something where there, you know, is the timing. It's not the sort of upgrade that you just get from pure defense, but I don't think that that's necessarily a bad idea on this map. There's some very goofy all-ins that you can do, just swarming with Zerglings the instant you see Terran expand, because people tend to over-macro on these big maps, forgetting that, of course, in StarCraft 2, you still have the same units as before, the threats are the same, it's just a little bit more time to react, so it looks like, yeah, there's Phoenix now advancing forward, doing a touch of a containment with these Blue Flame.
Yeah, just driving around, and he's using his Banshee to harass, killing 2 roaches there. Now going to go to work on the hatchery, as, you know, this is kind of a repeat of game number 1, but on a different map. We've got the 2 queens going to work, trying to get down there to deal with the Banshee, tiptoeing off the creep. Banshee going to get out of there with the high range of the queen driving them away. Meanwhile, Phoenix transitioning into 1, 2, 3, 4 barracks. I'm surprised just a little bit that he's not walling off his front, but looks like he's confident there's not going to be any sort of early aggression from Sen that he'll need to deal with. First Banshee going to come back to the third base, and second Banshee going to flank into the main base.
Always love this sort of split up, but of course we do see that there's that Spore Crawler down right now. So we'll be able to do too much damage. Spore Crawlers can see farther than they can shoot, so that Queen is there to do the little extra bit of damage, and it looks like manages to find the money spot where there is no detection, so that does mean that it looks like Sen might end up losing an Extractor, but I don't think he thinks that is that big of a deal.
Blue Flame Hellions trying to drive into the main, getting denied by 2 Spine Crawlers and some Roaches. Not sure what Phoenix was thinking there. Maybe he just, you know, started moving them in, took his eyes off, and meant to go back, but losing those all for naught. Meanwhile, production tab, let's take a look at what's going on here. We don't see a third base coming up, just some upgrades. We've got a medevac on the way, a bunch of Marines, and again, the Caduceus Reactor. It's a tongue twister there.
I love the Caduceus Reactor. What a cool thing to build. We do see Sen also doing a very nice transfuse on an Extractor to get a few extra hits off on a Banshee while keeping it alive. We see that 4th macro hatch going down for Sen, so he will have a lot of units streaming on out. The +2 attack going down at the Extractor. We also see the 3rd command center being constructed by Phoenix in that top right area, and as usual, beginning the Marine Marauder with drop play coming up right now. These 2 bases are very close by air, so I do love that Phoenix is trying to exploit that as much as possible.
He's got those 2 medevacs moving in, and looks like the Overlord blanket yet again. Going to give him just a safe feeling as he moves it over. Going to see that. And has he reacted from bringing his army? No. Now pulling all those Zerglings over, and the medevac's forced to be denied out there. And look at this Overlord spread. Just really nice, protecting his main base. Now Phoenix is moving in, trying to get a drop position on Sen. Where are the units? Looks like they were forced to be recalled into the main base, where the Queen deals with the Banshee. But a lot of damage being done by these Marines, stimming up, taking out a lot of Zerglings, dancing back and forth. And I think they're going to be forced to lift off, but well, it looks like 2 units lost there, and a bit of annoying damage done on Sen. Looks like he doesn't want to have any of that, so we'll just throw down 3 Spine Crawlers.
I think very, very smart play by Sen in my eyes. I mean, that's just such a giant threat, and I think Sen is so confident with his late game play that as long as he can prevent any too much poking and prodding from occurring, then he's going to be feeling great. And I'm a little interested by the fact that Sen is actually taking that center base as his fourth. I would more so expect perhaps the left expansion or even the left main, but I think that Sen... I think it's a little bit of a trade-off. Sen knows that Fnatic is so aggressive that he kind of wants to stay close, but it looks like Sen making a big blunder, losing a bunch of Mutalisk at the south end of that base.
Yeah, trying to fight Marines and Medivacs with Mute is not always the best idea. Now he's going to come over to the Zelnagan Watchtower in the middle, clear that out. Meanwhile, Fnatic still being a little bit active on the map. He's got SCVs scouting various expansions as well as a Hellion out on the map, just trying to check where is that fourth base for Sen going to be. And we've got a drone heading over to the western side. I don't see the hologram of a hatchery anywhere yet, so probably going to go down once he gets over there. So maybe his decision is to take that base and another one in the center and just macro like a beast.
We do see Fnatic continuing to add reactor barracks on to expand that Marine count. Second engineering bay getting constructed as well, but no combat shield. Oh no, I think that's a little bit of a blunder at this late stage of the game to not have that upgrade and to be moving out right now. And it looks like there's the watchtower going up right now, and we see that there's a little bit of sieging moving forward onto the creep.
Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous for Fnatic here, but he has set up successfully. He's stimming up, moving up, taking out any sort of reinforcements that are moving in slowly, being aggressive against those Banelings and Zerglings as they're now off the creep. I like that. Baneling speed is complete, as you can see by that rolling animation. Looks like Fnatic wants to move in on this fourth hatchery, and he is going to get it. Sen trying to flank around from the northern side, going to move in with the Banelings and Zerglings. Mutalisk coming in. Looks like the Banelings hitting so many units here, completely cleaning up. Looks like that fifth hatchery, fourth base is going to go down, but looks like at the cost of all of Phoenix's map presence, of all of his units. Supply showing 125 for our Zerg player, 120 for our Terran player. Sen putting up a fifth base at the left side. Clearly he's going to remake that center base yet again, as he's got a drone already sitting there moving forward. I don't think Fnatic is going to die from this, but he has given up the majority of his map presence in that attack.
Fnatic needed to get some money target fires with the tanks on the Banelings, but instead just let them do what they wanted. So that let all those Banelings roll right on in and do maximum damage. Fnatic just needs to recoup and get a big army to move out relatively soon so he doesn't sacrifice too much of that control. We see the +2/+1 just now started, and hey, fortunately that combat shield is now done.
You see Medivac drop moving into the fifth base for Sen, as it were, or fifth hatchery, fourth base. Looks like he's just gonna fly around. Okay, now moving into drop. He wanted that SCV to scout it out, and then he could drop. Okay, now he's gonna drop up here. Okay, so trying to follow that up.
Oh.
Meanwhile, let's go look in the main base of Fnatic. Muta's moving in, taking out turrets almost instantly. He does have +1 flyer attack on those Mutas, so the Glaive Worm doing 10 damage as opposed to 9. Moving in and targeting down those depots. SCVs forced to run away. It looks like there's not enough SCVs brought back here, but they are going to drive out. Meanwhile, at the fifth base of Sen, getting killed by Stim Marines. Looks like they're going to be able to take that out. Take a look at the upgrades. 2-1 for Sen and only 0-1 for Fnatic. So big advantage in the upgrades for Sen here.
Here's a very interesting command center placement for Fnatic. He's hiding it so that way no overlords will be able to spot it. Might be able to sneak out a planetary fortress, get a little bit of extra defense up. We see a third factory going down now for Fnatic as he's realizing he needs some more of those heavy hitting units to deal with. We do see more Marauders, Marines popping out. Fnatic now sitting at 7 barracks, and 5 of them have add-ons at this point. We see a nice scan picking off a little bit of those creep tumors, but Fnatic is going to need to set up very quickly.
Yeah, it looks like he is doing that, sieging up right by the Zelnagan. Looks like Sen is responding by moving the majority of his army to the northern side, keeping a bit of a flank on the western side. Here come the siege tanks moving forward, going to start to rain down terror on those Zerg units as Fnatic stims in with his Marines, moves in, and here comes the big flank from Sen, moving the Zerglings and Banelings in from the south, now coming in with the Mutas and Zerglings from the top. Looks like he's just going to flank against everything. The Thors are still alive, but not for long. Mutas coming to clean up, but there's a lot of Marines left, but it doesn't matter because the Zerglings are able to support those Mutas as everything goes down yet again for Fnatic. He needs to slow down and start slow pushing. He cannot continue to donate units to Sen, or it is not going to end well for him.
Fnatic losing those 2 Thors, a big chunk of Marines and Marauders. Just needed to wait a little bit longer, and it looks like Sen going to move in for an attack. This might be exactly what Fnatic needs to pop back into the game. I do not think this attack will be able to end the game right now. So this could be some free units unless Sen does a lot of damage, but it looks like Sen had just a few too many units at the front, and now Phoenix is losing workers and his natural.
Yeah, having the Zergling escort with those immunities is just so nice. You know, the Zerglings can get taken out by the Marines, and as soon as all the Zerglings are dead and your mutas are in threat of danger, you can move them out. But it looks like Sen not doing that at all. He's just attacking. Thor coming out and dealing a ton of damage on those mutas. But it looks like Sen doesn't even care, bringing in more and more Zerglings. He's at 115 supply. Phoenix down at 80 as these Zerglings run into his third base and start to bring the pain on those SCVs.
Yes, single Zergling in that worker line has 10 kills right now. Blue Flame Hellion pops out, the bunker finishes, we see it loading him up into the bunker. Tanks now popping out. Sen realizes he needs to retreat, but again, that one Zergling in the natural expansion has huge kills, and look at the second natural, some more Zerglings wreaking havoc there, and in the meantime, Sen is in such a comfortable position, doubling his opponent's food.
Damn, Sen just looks so strong. That command center that was at the 12 o'clock is now mysteriously gone. And, I mean, what can Phoenix do at this point? It looks really, really grim for him. He would have to have some sort of miracle play where Sen just started donating units to him over and over, as the supplies are 130 to 84, and I think you can figure out who is who. Meanwhile, Phoenix beginning to mine out that third base. The patches looking pretty small in there in the natural and the third base, and when those actually, you know, completely mine out, that's probably going to be Phoenix's time to try to do some sort of miracle attack. Or he may lift his main command center and try to set up at this fourth base, which surprisingly he never tried to do.
Got poor Phoenix now having all these mutals at the back of his base. He killed off about 20 at the front, but Sen's economy is just way too good. And now Phoenix trying to pull back with a lot of Marines. Can't afford to stim them quite yet because he only seems to have one medevac there with that group stimming some very nice conservative stim play by Phoenix, but there's just a few too many mutals now darting in, picking off the supply depots, engineering base under fire, more depots. Sen's being very, very smart and knows exactly what he needs to attack to stay in the lead.
Yeah, it's just looking so grim for Phoenix. Sen looking very, very dominant in this game, and my advice for anyone who has to play him in the next round is do not let him just make drones in the early game, because that is not a situation that I think any Terran or Protoss players are going to want to deal with playing this monster in the mid game when you let him get this many drones up. And we can see the mutaball that results from being basically untouched in the early game, moving in with 25 mutalists, basically one-shotting the majority of these buildings, and it is not looking good.
Oh, poor Phoenix now losing his only starport. That means there's going to be pretty much no more medevacs coming out for quite some time. And in the unit counting station, we see that there are 4 medevacs, and that is it. Phoenix trying to move forward. He's building turrets in the center of the map. He's going to have to play very slowly, very defensively. But in the meantime, these mutals are just picking apart all the barracks in his base. Phoenix trying to do a little bit of baiting with those medevacs, but it looks like he is rapidly losing all of those barracks.
Yeah, it doesn't look too good here. Marine's forced to come back, but Phoenix cannot actually afford to put turrets in his fourth expansion there. Now Muta's deciding it is time, moving in and completely going to clean up all the units that can hit them. There's a bunch of tanks just forced to watch. Yeah, they can shoot up, but apparently not at the sky. And that is going to be it. That's how you win with a lot of Zerg units.
And look at this. Sen doesn't even leave the game, even though Phoenix is gone. Sen just rolls through with all his units, doing a little bit of celebration action, but you can't blame him. That's one of the most intimidating Terran players on the planet, and taking him down convincingly 2-0.
So the lesson here, Day9, is TSL2 champions, also TSL3 champions, ? Both Sen, who finished third, and Tyler, who finished first. Showing convincing 2-0 victories here in day number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Just stellar play by both Tyler and Phoenix in these games. I mean, never really relinquishing control at any point, which is an extremely, extremely hard thing to do. So definitely big props to them advancing into the next round. And big props to everyone who is watching right now for being able to advance into the next game.
Yeah!
Oh, it's going to be Thor Zane against Fruit Dealer. I mean, you can't even get knocked out of the observer station in the TSL unless you just decide to leave your house. But why would you do that?
Yeah, that would be be pretty bad. So looking forward at who these opponents are going to be playing, we're going to have game number 3, which is going to be, as you said, Thorazane against Fruit Dealer, and the winner of that is going to take on Liquid Tyler in, I'm going to say, the upper left side of the bracket in area number 1. And then game number 4, we're going to see Imyo Hwan himself take on Prey Night End, and the winner of that is going to take on Fnatic.Sen in the upper right of the bracket. You can go to teamliquid.net, check the TSL side on the right side. There's the official bracket contest, which has the full bracket up there, and you can kind of do some bracket crafting in your head to figure out who's going to be playing who in your dream TSL number 3.